Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Hypecast. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm David Bell, your other co-host.
And we have Cody Johnston here.
Hey, Cody.
Hello.
How are you?
You may
I
know
am good.
Cody from Things and Other Things
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah.
Look me up.
Yeah.
I've got some things for you.
On the interwebs. Type in the name, things come up.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, this is really good. This is really good content that we're producing right now.
I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got stuff from the past week
Yeah.
to be excited
I'm
about.
seeing all this. I'm seeing all this stuff
Oh yeah.
I guess we should start with the Deadpool trailer.
Sure. Yeah, Deadpool 2 trailer. Did you guys watch it?
I did.
Yeah.
I'm very into it.
Yeah,
Just
pretty
because
good.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those movies where you don't need to be anything special.
Nope.
You just be funny.
Yeah.
And have, like, stuff blow up, do the thing with the hand and the gun. That's all I need for
That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was really.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's the thing is and this was applied to the first Deadpool, is the action is good.
Yes.
In these.
Yeah.
They're making a superhero movie. They're
Mhm.
just pretending they're not. While
Right.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
and-
very clever with that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like they definitely subvert the big stuff, like him shooting the villain at the end of the first movie. It was delightful.
Oh yeah.
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 And I hope they can keep it up.
Yeah, I think there have been enough, because it is definitely like a reaction to a lot of the like superhero movies we see,
hmm
and there have been a lot of them, and a lot of like not really good ones since the first Deadpool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
So
true.
I'm looking forward to like how they comment on those films and like tropes that are emerging from those.
Oh yeah, for sure. I heard there were I want to look this up. There were reshoots recently,
Maybe.
and people are guessing that it might be because of some crossover stuff. It might be because of the fact that Marvel.
Oh right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Oh wait, what?
they're talking about. Oh yeah, they're talking about a secret cameo filmed during reshoots.
Like from Marvel Studios?
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
because
yay!
after the acquisition and after Disney bought it or whatever. So
But there's like lists online of like who could be this cameo.
unless
I hope
Is
it's
it-
all the Avengers.
Yeah.
every Avenger.
Most likely it could be X-Men stuff.
Yeah, like
because
Wolverine.
That
You
makes so much
see
sense,
in the
yeah.
trailer that he's like at the mansion again.
hmm
Right.
Um,
Right, he's like getting the team back together or whatever. You imagine it would be very easy to just pop in any X-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Not X-Man, but that's an X-Man, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's an X-Man?
I think there is an X-Man. Yes.
Really?
I
Yeah.
think it's an X-Man.
Yeah.
Was I have a lot of questions about that.
I'm,
Like, was the X-Men already a thing that was established, and this selfish asshole was like, "Well, I
Yeah.
am X-Man."
I'm
yes.
pretty sure, yeah.
hmm
Mm,
Yeah.
He just came,
He's one of the X-Men.
what a jerk!
popped his head up out of the woodwork, started just posting on a message board. I was X-Man
But what about me?
long before any of these jerks.
We look forward to it. The Cable, it's Cable, right?
Yeah, it's Cable.
Is he normally a bad guy?
When he first shows up, yeah, because he's coming from he's from the future, and it's like he's basically like the Terminator,
From like a crack.
and they're combining him with a Bishop storyline, where I think the first time Bishop showed up, he was a straight up bad guy, and he was coming back to kill Gambit, I think.
Okay, so Bishop is also from the future.
Yes.
Okay.
from a shit future where like everything, mutants are mostly
like all
extinct.
the new X-Men kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I can't remember if Cable's was ever in that role. It seems like they're kind of combining him and Bishop, but I wasn't huge up on X-Men as a kid. So one of our more X-Men inclined listeners is probably yelling right now.
So in terms of summer 2018, Josh Brolin has a monopoly on being a superhero.
He does.
Now.
Did you see the Photoshop of Thanos as Guy Fieri?
No.
No, but I'm gonna look
It was.
up.
I saw it on Twitter last night where it's just the scene where he's from the preview where he's standing there like this with the gauntlet up, and I forget the caption, but something along the lines of "You better hope he doesn't find the flavor stone." It's fucking incredible.
That's wonderful. I assume there's going to be some self-aware.
There might be, yeah. That may be included in the reshoots.
That's a funny Photoshop.
Yeah.
Good job, Dan Casey on the internet.
Look that up. I assume they might put some, especially if they did reshoots, they might put some like joke in there about how he's in both
they've
things.
got to.
They definitely in the first teaser they do Thanos jokes, where like they do the trailer and then Deadpool interrupts and says like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to do it myself," which is the Thanos line.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we need Deadpool every few years to remind us all the movies that we are forced to watch.
I feel like we need. Yeah, Deadpool is like the superhero equivalent of like the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where like it's to blow off some steam that like people has been like building up. Where they're getting sick of certain.
The dam is about to break. You're like, no,
Yeah.
like here's the things you do.
Let's just call out the dumb things for what they are. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We do need Deadpool.
We do need
Deadpool.
I hope it keeps going. Like even
every few years.
all the jokes they do about like doing a third one or whatever.
Yeah.
No, do one every 3 years.
Yeah.
Don't make it a trilogy. Don't do only one sequel. Just keep it.
Right, because we need to take inventory about that often of all these
Right. Because
superheroes.
these aren't going away.
No.
Like as soon as Infinity War is done, like okay, who's the new Captain America? Well, we got that for 15 years or whatever.
Yeah. And especially you could do it now since fucking Disney just owns every superhero now except for DC. You could have that Deadpool roast where like, you could have fun cameos. You can bring in random fucking actors to just play their character. Get Robert Downey Jr. in one. Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
yeah,
exactly.
Who would love to do
Who
that?
gives a fuck?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, just throw them in there and have them fucking fart at each other.
Yeah. Even just like basic stuff, like like Wolverine in the new class of X-Men movie, where he's at the bar.
Oh yeah,
like, go fuck yourself or whatever.
That's delightful.
Like, that's it, and it's great. It's perfect.
Yeah. Oh man. What else do we got?
We got Action Point.
Oh yeah, Action Point, which I'll watch.
Yes, I am sort of ashamed to say that I will watch, but I like the idea of it.
Yeah, it's the Johnny Knoxville movie where it's him and most of the Jackass people. It looks like, or at least, you can hear the beginning of the trailer right there.
There it is.
Sort of like Bad Grandpa in that it's a quote unquote narrative movie, but it's not like they're not actually pranking people in this movie. It's just a narrative film with stunts, and they just have the guys do the stunts because that's their stuntmen.
What they do.
That's what they do.
Right, Jackass, but with
a storyline.
People like, well, what if you had a plot a little bit?
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
It's basically just Jackass with
Yeah.
It's Buster Keaton. It's
Yeah.
the idea that we've lost this for so long. The idea that comedians can be stunt people, like that stunts and comedy, are two things that can go together. It's been a while, right?
Even like
Jackie Chan will do comedy in his stunts, but he's not a comedian.
He's not a comedian doing it. Chevy Chase, I guess. Back in the day.
Yeah, he would do the fall.
Right.
That was probably like the last person you could point to and be like, oh, you're like a comedian who does like physical stuff and kind of like puts your body at risk.
Right, yeah.
Daniel O'Brien did it for a while in like Agent of the Crack. He really had a lot of fun doing that kind of stuff. Because I think he was a Buster Keaton fan. But I wouldn't say he's a famous comedian who...
But it's nice to see it done. That's even when like I'm not a big fan of Seth MacFarlane, but I like the idea of someone who's like, I want to put some singing and dancing in my comedy. Like, because we don't do that anymore. Like, I like it when people make those, like, try to bring back something that we don't see anymore.
Because it's different.
Yeah, it's different and it's still good.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's right. That's why people liked this.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it didn't go away because it was bad. It was just like it got a little tired and we moved on and evolved a little bit. I will. Yeah, I don't like when Seth MacFarlane does literally just the song. Where like he'll be like, this song from The Music Man, I'm gonna do the whole song as it was written.
Right.
I don't need that.
Yeah, that's not
but
a
like
joke.
when it's like, no, this style of thing, like let's do a big production of like a musical, that's always very entertaining.
Yeah, so
Johnny Knoxville building a shit amusement park.
Yeah, and then going
in like
on
the 70s.
Getting in basically the rides are an excuse for him to get hurt, it seems like.
No, I got no problems with that.
Well, the best part of the trailer is the little girl that's playing his granddaughter, because it's like told in flashback. So I guess as an excuse to have him in old man makeup, and also I guess so that they can make it believable that this guy would be able to build his own amusement park and not get immediately shut down. Right. So they have it be like in the 70s, back before we knew things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, fewer safety regulations.
Yeah. But anyway, in the few bits you see in the trailer where he does like some, where he does a jackass thing with this little child actress watching him, it's like genuine laughter coming from this child actress watching him fall.
Right, that's so much fun.
Head.
That makes it a lot more enjoyable to watch. Yeah. Because you have the innocence. Sort of apologizing for the the fact that you're laughing at a guy getting hurt.
Right. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things from one of the Jackass movies, because Johnny Knoxville has a daughter, and she was very young for I think the third Jackass, and I heard interviews and stuff of him talking about having this daughter who is of course very concerned for him even at a young age. This poor girl's going to grow up with some sort of fucking complex where watching, and I felt bad about it, and then I was watching the bloopers, I think, for Jackass 3, when he has to do, it's a Buster Keaton stunt where the building falls down. Yeah. And the window, he goes through the window and it just misses him, and he accidentally gets hit by the building, and you hear off screen his daughter go, "You idiot!" And you can hear the frustration of years of watching her dad do this stuff and being so
hurting himself for no fucking reason.
That's so good.
And it was like a genuine accident. He didn't mean to get hit, but she was
right.
So
that's the
angry.
point. That's the point of the bit, is that you don't get hit.
Yeah.
Or it's like the one bit like that.
Yeah.
Everything else, you want to get hit.
Right. So yeah, I'll watch this goddamn movie.
Yeah.
It's probably fun. We about to say something?
Yeah. Oh yeah, just like that's, I like that idea a lot of Jackass, but like with a little more effort put into why it's happening.
Yeah.
I hope it's successful and he can keep doing that instead of like I wouldn't want to see a Jackass 4 or whatever. Unless there was one. Was there one?
No, there was there was 3, but like now, particularly after, like the one guy died, and it's like all these guys are in their 40s.
Yeah, and they all have drug problems.
Is, yeah.
Because that's the thing, is I find Jackass so funny.
It's great, yeah.
And the movies I find so funny.
Great program, great series of films.
Yeah, some of the best fucking physical humor. When they have the giant hand that slaps people walking through a door, and it hits Bam, and he just falls like a goddamn tree. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But then these people later have alcohol issues and probably problems with painkillers.
I'm sure.
And so it's kind of sad to watch because and one of them's dead. So it's like watching these group of people just kind of self-destruct for our entertainment.
That's a bummer.
They're so good at it, though. They're so good at thinking up ideas for these stunts, and it's nice. It's nice to see them still make money, and maybe with this narrative stuff, there's a little more control. Like, they deserve to get a little bit of a fucking break from the really hardcore physical stuff.
Right.
Yeah, doing. Like they're not out on a street having to sign waivers for all these people that are incidentally on camera. And even though Bad Grandpa, or not, was it Bad Grandpa? I think so. That was the title of that film, where it's like was sort of narrative, but it was narrative in the way that Borat was narrative, where it's like he's playing a character, but they're still throwing him into situations where it's like real people around him.
I think the same thing with Jackie Chan, where like he's gotten older, he's still doing stunts, but he's not like jumping on a train anymore, or like, you know, it's like
got hit with the helicopter.
Yeah, it's like
in Super Cop.
It's good that he's not doing that stuff. These guys need to they need to calm down. They're getting old.
If you still want to do it, keep doing it, but like take it down a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, I don't want to say it to Tom Cruise because the Mission Impossible movies just keep getting better, but it's like, Tom Cruise, you don't need to strap yourself to the outside of an actual jet.
I think it's the opposite with Tom Cruise. I think he wasn't a stunt person.
He wasn't,
early career, and now he hit a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And he's just like, fuck it.
And we're all reaping the bennies.
Yes. But he at least
sweet Mission Impossible film.
Yeah. He at least seems to be doing it safely, for the most part.
Right, as safe as a 53-year-old man can fling himself across rooftops.
Yeah. Or like, multimillionaire. Imagine he'll keep himself pretty safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hope so.
And he's protected by the Thetans or whatever.
Right, yeah.
With
his alien juice.
Come to him.
Yeah.
He's got like a force field, probably, right? He's reached that level.
Brain worms?
Yeah.
They're like strings?
Yeah.
Like little little brain strings. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
That's the doctrine.
Glowing brain strings. Yes.
That's the scripture.
Yeah.
We had another trailer. We have
this is Tag movie.
Oh, Tag. Okay. This is a true story that we wrote about. A true story. We actually wrote about this, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Where it's just people playing a game of tag that went across decades. And this is the wacky, fun film version of it. That
sounds so stressful.
Yeah, it really does. It's got... Who's in it?
Jeremy Renner,
John Hamm.
Because he's not in Avengers, apparently.
Right, yeah.
Poor Jeremy Renner. He needs to find... Hollywood owes him more than what he's gotten from Hollywood.
Well,
he's been strung along for so long.
I know.
Like, yeah, buddy, you'll be the next Bourne. No,
you're going to be the next Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
Nope.
No.
We're going to make a Hawkeye movie, man. We promise.
Yeah, we're gonna almost give you 2 Oscars. And then we're going to string you along for 10 years.
What did he almost get 2 Oscars for?
Hurt Locker and The Town.
Oh, he was
Both
really good in The
movies
Town.
Really good. Yeah. And it's like, and he basically, like, he should go back to just being a good actor.
Just being dramas, man. Well, that Wind River movie, which is on Netflix, was apparently good. Yeah. I didn't watch it.
I feel like Joel Edgerton took it away from him. Like
he's not doing it either.
He's got another weird little smush face, and like, and like I feel like where Jeremy Renner would have been cast, Joel Edgerton snuck in there.
He's more, he's got a more interesting smush face.
Yeah.
Than like the handsome version of his smush face.
Right. So yeah, Hannibal Buress is in it as well. Jake Johnston.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I think the original story might be more interesting because it feels like they're making this
they're making the Hollywood version.
Yeah, they're making like the dumb comedy version.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure again it will be funny, but from what I remember hearing about the real version, it sounded really entertaining.
Yeah.
The specific story was that one guy hid in the trunk of another guy's car to tag him, and the guy's wife opened the trunk instead, and he like scared the wife so bad she like broke her ankle, and he like still like tried to get the tag and all this stuff, and then the kicker was that the guy who hid in the trunk was a priest. Like it was like the idea that this game of tag just was more important than anything.
Right.
Reduced these men to just...
Yeah.
Whittle them down to little children.
Like, yeah, it's just like...
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see that.
Yeah, why not?
But yeah, it does look like a more, like a hangover version of it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, which is a shame.
Yeah, I'd like to see... Maybe the real version just isn't as interesting.
Right, it's... I mean, I get why you do it. You have to like come up with some kind of narrative instead of just
arc, yeah. Like that trunk story. That's great, but I can't imagine like they went through like a big change over the years.
Yeah,
you'd have to sort of invent that to get those little scenelets in.
Yeah,
that's writing.
That's writing.
So, yeah, that's what we call storytelling. I have a random assortment of stories in here, and I don't know.
Down, and the next one is Steven Seagal has a Bitcoin.
He's endorsing a Bitcoin.
I love the headline is Zen Master Steven Seagal.
Oh yeah, it's a Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin 2.0. It's Bitcoin second gen with 2 eyes in a coin.
Can we just
God?
And it's in China, I think. So the article itself is fantastically rambling.
Did you see the thing about like there's like child pornography like embedded in the Bitcoin code or something? Like in blockchain? Like I don't know if I'll be able to find the details of it, but like look into it, everybody. Yeah. It's like in the code of like blockchain. I don't understand Bitcoin that much.
Neither do I.
But like if you like look deep enough, it's like, oh yeah, that's like child porn and all Bitcoins.
Isn't the way blockchains work? Isn't it? I shouldn't even try.
I don't know.
I couldn't even.
I don't know.
I was watching the Last Week Tonight about Bitcoins. It was illuminating, and he talks about the blockchain stuff. Okay. And from what I gather, it's like using everybody's computer, multiple computers and stuff.
Yeah.
For it, I want to say, and again, this is so vague, but like. Maybe that has something to do with child porn being in the code.
Well, it seeps in because
right.
I don't know. That's probably a really dumb thing I just said. I don't. I mean,
know. It checks out to me. Who's the type of person that would use cryptocurrency? Probably the type of person that would have child porn on their computer.
That's the thing. Is cryptocurrency in general like it just seems like a bad idea.
I mean, money's stupid.
But
like. And secret money is like a little dumber.
I guess what I do like about Bitcoin is if we found out it was a performance art piece from an artist trying to prove that money is stupid.
I like that a lot.
Because that's what it proves. It's like, hey, let's all just decide this is worth something. And that's how Bitcoins work.
That's how money works.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Like, we're all agreeing that it's worth something. Yeah.
If some artist was just like, that's not money, this is money.
Yeah.
Right. And then it worked, and it became money.
And then we're watching people be like, this needs to be regulated. And then just soon enough, it'll just be money again.
Yeah, it just becomes money. It's like, you're going through all the stuff that we all went through.
Yeah, we've arrived at the same thing, and it's still dumb.
Yeah. We don't need... banks have already made it so that we don't need a digital version of money, right? Because we can just transfer money now.
It kind of is a digital version.
Right. I mean, most of it it's imaginary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't touched money in a while. And then even touching money, it's still just a piece of paper that says it's worth something. Like, it's always been a weird...
Right. Yeah. But at this point, like, it's just a number that goes up or down. It's not anything other than that.
Right. I mean, it's based on a lot of complicated algorithms. We're being reductive, but
it's all
the basic idea is that just the money is theoretically worth something. Right. It's worth whatever we all agree that it's worth.
We should abolish money, guys. Let's do it. Let's
Fight Club
this. Let's Fight Club everything.
We're gonna Fight
Club.
So instead
of money, we just Fight Club each other.
Yeah.
Well, we Project Mayhem.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you're like, just like instead of having money, let's just like fight each other.
That would be
fight
fun.
each other
like,
for our goods and services.
Store, get a soda, and the guy's like, "All right, let's do this.
Let's Fight Club this."
Yeah.
How many Fight Clubs is this worth?
How many times do I have to defeat you? You must defeat me 3 times for that Italian
When I was a kid, a candy bar was only 3 Fight Clubs.
Inflation's a bitch. My ribs can't take anymore.
That seems like a good way for us all to go out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Steven Seagal is pushing this Bitcoin, so maybe he is trying to get us to a world where everything is paid for in Fight Clubs.
That'd be great. I would fight Steven Seagal. I have a theory that he doesn't know how to fight. That's my theory on Steven Seagal.
He looks like he would fight you for a sandwich.
Yeah, he does.
So I think that's the sort of economy he's pushing us toward.
Yeah. And just to be clear, I don't know how to fight. That's why I want to fight Steven Seagal and prove that he doesn't know how to fight. Because
I think that's a valid hypothesis.
Yeah.
If you trace the evidence, I'm sure it's there.
You've watched that video of him like demonstrating his moves.
Yeah.
And it's clearly
it's just nonsense.
Other people doing stuff and not him. Like it's like a classic like Hollywood guy with stuntmen. I feel like it was like
is it a like vlog or something, or is it just like, hey, I want to prove that I can do these fight moves?
And it's like him
doing a specific type of fighting that apparently doesn't require you to move much while doing it, which is so convenient.
That's very Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Right. It's like in professional wrestling when a big guy is fighting a little guy and he'll like throw one punch and the little guy does 19 flips to make it seem like he hit him so hard, selling the punch. That's Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, but like, if your hypothesis is true, that means that he was invited into Hollywood and then they created a fight master out of him, if you will.
Yeah.
So that means that they were getting him in there based on his charisma and acting ability.
There's got to be something deeper in there. There's got to be something he knew. He blackmailed someone. He's a time traveler, maybe. Like, he did something to get...
He does look like a time traveler.
Yeah.
More and more every year.
I don't know.
He's, like, slowly growing into his future self.
Yeah.
His future self is apparently just a giant head.
Because
he looks like his body, and it's just, he looks like a bullet right now.
And his clothes keep, like, melding into each other.
Yeah.
Slowly having fewer and fewer items of clothing.
That's his future. He melds into a giant bullet and he gets fired into the sun to save us.
He's melting into a giant bullet.
And he saves us
to
all.
reignite the sun. Yeah.
And I will be so apologetic if Steven Seagal fires himself into the sun.
Right,
to
yeah.
save us all.
He gets his little bullet self into a can and gets shot into the sun.
Us.
And then all of the all of the dye in his beard reignites the sun. His beard's...
Oh yeah, he probably has a very flammable beard now.
It's like a goth beard. It's like so dark. It's like your hair was never this dark.
Right, those are my favorites where it's like you get older and you're like, okay, I'm gonna like color it a little bit and make sure like I sort of age a little more gracefully.
Turn into a vampire.
No. You've never looked like that. It's very obvious now.
You look like an android.
I love also every photo of Steven Seagal I see now looks like it's a CGI version of Steven Seagal from like a mobile game advertisement, you know?
The Steven Seagal that pops up and gives you the tutorial level.
Right. It's like the shading is weird and like the line, his hair is like very, very, very specific, detailed. Like even this on the article, it's like, no, that's you're trying to sell me like a game called like War Buddies or whatever. Like Bitcoin 2Gen.
He's a ridiculous man.
Musician.
Oh yeah, he's got albums.
Oh.
And they're wonderful.
That bums me out. Yeah, no, it doesn't. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm always delighted when, like, I find out that a celebrity that's ridiculous also sings. Like David Duchovny.
Mm-hmm.
When I realized he had a band, it was like, oh, I gotta hear that.
Yeah. I need this. I need this in my life.
Right. Yeah, a few, like, the one was like, yes. Knowing that every, like, week Jeff Goldblum goes and plays piano at a bar.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's delightful, too. It's a wonderful time to go see Jeff Goldblum play jazz piano.
Because nobody's there for the jazz piano.
Right.
Not even he's there for the jazz piano. He probably, like, 30% of it was him actually playing an instrument.
Right.
And the rest was him wandering around.
Yeah, just, like, talking to people.
Yeah.
Right. Well, he knows what people came for.
Yeah.
I just threw this in there because it's interesting to me. Amazon's producing a miniseries about Hernan Cortez starring Javier Bardem, and it's produced by Steven Spielberg and written by Steven Zalian, who wrote Schindler's List.
That's probably going to be good.
Probably be pretty good, right?
Is that the director attached?
I don't know. I just saw this.
Yeah, doesn't look like it.
I mean, how can that be bad? All the elements are there.
Yeah,
right.
Those are all there.
Yeah, and it's
everybody involved is talented.
And it's a historical figure that we don't really get movies about. Like, I don't think there's been a Cortez movie.
I will say Javier Bardem, I feel like he came, like, I first knew him from fucking
No Country
for Old Men, and he came in real strong. And
he came in hot.
Like
he came in hot with that page boy haircut.
He's just been doing a very small or, like, not noticeable, like, he hasn't, like, wowed me since then. He hasn't done a role that's been that insane or that
Skyfall?
unique.
Was he Skyfall?
Yeah, he's Skyfall.
Skyfall, I don't know. It didn't do it.
I thought he was good in Skyfall.
He's good. Yeah, he's definitely good. But, like, I don't even know what I mean from this, because I don't mean just another villain. I mean, like, that character was so unique and weird and fun to watch that I was just like, I expected a career of this sort of insane stuff.
Yeah.
I guess it reminds me of like early Brad Pitt when he was doing like 12 Monkeys and
in
like,
California.
In California, where it was like, holy shit, like, what is he gonna play next? This is so entertaining and weird. Or like early Johnny Depp was kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I wanted, I don't know. I feel like I'm acting spoiled. I'm spoiled for Javier.
No, yeah, I see what
Bardem,
you're saying. Because I would have preferred Brad Pitt did that early stuff for the rest of his career.
Yeah. And now he's just sort of playing himself.
Yeah.
I guess, I'll say he was good in the... Javier Bardem was good in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie that no one saw. And
I didn't see that.
No one should see, but he's good in it. Like,
I figured he would be.
Yeah.
Like,
the movie isn't good.
It was the only thing they showed you in that first trailer. Because they're like, well, we can't show people Johnny Depp right now.
Right. Yeah.
Better show him Javier.
Yeah, there's actually... I thought the advertising for the Pirates movies is so interesting because, like, there was a period where I thought that they made a Pirates movie without Johnny Depp.
Right, because they don't feature him on a lot of it. They're pushing the... And that was, I think, after the first 3 films were done, they stopped pushing him in it so much as trying to push the brand because they're like, well, we don't know if he's going to come back for anymore.
Right.
So let's really push the brand. So on the last 2, it really seemed like... Well, definitely for the stupid Fountain of Youth one, which I forgot. I continually forget exists.
Yeah. Didn't even know they made one of those.
Yeah, on Stranger Tides.
Right? They're going to stop.
They make money overseas, man.
They killed off a major character.
Yeah, they did.
Are we allowed to spoil it?
I think so.
Yeah.
They killed off Jeffrey Rush. And I think Jeffrey Rush just didn't want to...
Was he in a lot of them?
He was in all of them.
He's Barbosa.
Didn't
he die? He was one of the best parts. And
he dies in the first one, but then he comes back to life at the end of the second one.
Back to life.
Yeah. Which was a fun...
And then he kind of becomes a good guy at that point.
Have I not seen any Pirates of the Caribbean?
Maybe
you haven't.
I loved the first one. The second
one's very good.
The second one I did enjoy because it still had stunts and stuff.
I liked the second one,
The wheel fight?
The wheel fight's amazing,
And then it ends on that cool cliffhanger, and it was like, oh, this is fun. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
And then
the third one
is such a bummer.
Steamy garbage.
Is it like just like a dour film that's not fun, or is it just like bad?
It was like all CGI, and
it
was
overlong and bad, and it doesn't really tie up the story in a satisfying way. It just wasn't a good movie.
And Johnny Depp's character keeps being more and more like a cartoon character,
right?
And then they start doing let's stick Mick Jagger in here, and then they
Keith Richards.
What's the difference? The old rock people, and then they stuck one of them Beatles in the new one.
Really?
Paul McCartney's in the latest one.
And
for no reason.
No, he is shoehorned in.
Yeah.
Like, Johnny Depp is like in a jail, and he walks by a jail cell, and then there he is, and he's like, hey, how's it going? And they like talk for a second, and he leaves, and it's like, well, that didn't have anything to do with anything.
I hate that.
Yeah.
He's so mad right
now. It was
just
clearly, he was
no
like,
reason.
I want to be in one of them Pirates movies, and they were like, okay, we'll give you a scene.
I guess it must have been like, well, we had a Rolling Stone in here, we got to get a Beatle in here.
Oh,
yeah.
God, make him a pirate or something. Or like a...
No, he's just some fucking asshole
they
guard.
They gave him a scene like he won a contest to be in the movie.
You won a sweepstakes.
Yeah, and like it should have been cut out of the film.
Right, they wrote a scene that is inconsequential that could have been anybody ahead of time, and then he won.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's a Beatle, so he got to enter the contest a bunch. I wish they should have made him play himself. Like, oh, it's Paul McCartney, the Beatle.
The Beatle.
But like also...
The time-traveling Beatle.
The aged Beatle.
Yeah.
Like not even during the Beatle times.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, they really could have made something real incredible.
Shame.
Octopus's Garden, it's all there.
Yeah.
Yellow Sub... They've got so many underwater songs.
Yeah, have them come up in the fucking submarine.
Jeez.
It's right in your face.
Yeah.
Goddamn submarine. So yeah, this Cortez show.
Yeah, it looks good.
Spielberg and Javier Bardem. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Good.
That's
Is
gonna
it
be a good
for? It's just a movie. It's not like a Netflix.
It's
thing,
I think it's a miniseries for
Oh,
Amazon,
Amazon.
or
Yes,
Amazon.
Studios.
Okay. So yeah,
It's interesting. Yeah, there's so many good movies on like that are just for Netflix and Amazon now.
yeah. I just watched one called what was it called? The Ritual. It's a horror.
Oh
movie.
yeah, I want to watch that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
I just watched 1922, which
I wasn't gonna watch that too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for a horror movie. It was really fucking good. I really enjoyed it. I kept what's
Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane. I went through the entire movie, and I could have just Googled it. My arc for that movie was, is that Thomas Jane? I think it's Thomas Jane.
Yeah, I watched the opening.
What is Thomas Jane? And there was like, he's doing like a real
He's
voice.
doing a whole thing.
I don't know how else to describe this as, when like a celebrity loses weight or gains weight for a role that looks a certain way, it looked like Thomas Jane lost some of his skull for the role. Like there were bones missing. Parts of Thomas Jane that were missing.
Yeah, he's really like
different.
He's like gaunt faced, and he has this huge beard.
It's not a beard. I don't think he has a beard.
He does. I at least I watched the opening of it.
Oh, okay. I don't think he has a beard.
In the very beginning, he's got like this beard.
It's all flashback
Yeah.
to when he doesn't have a beard.
Yeah.
And the accent he's doing is out of control. It feels...
He's doing a whole thing.
I want to say racist to Southerners. I don't know if that works. But it felt like you're doing a real heavy voice here. It was fine. I mean, it's not... It's just like, it was a real... I'm sure people sound like that. But
Right.
It's a hell of an accent.
Well, he's a Depression era farmer, right?
Yeah,
so it's like, all right, well, sure.
Yeah, no,
fine.
it's fine.
I'll assume they all. Yeah.
I'll assume they all sound like
I just found
fucking
it
this.
somewhat distracting throughout.
That's delightful.
But yeah, it was fine. It was the horror part of it was really good.
And there's a
watch it.
new documentary series that everybody's talking about that I haven't watched yet.
About fucking hippie.
What's it called?
thing. Wild Country.
Yeah.
I heard it first told it was called Wild Wild West, and I was like, well, that can't be.
No, it's not. But it is called like Wild Wild Country. Or
Yeah.
Is it about one specific cult, or is it just like about
one
cults?
specific cult? Yeah,
I don't even know if they're a cult.
It is.
Okay. Yeah, it's about some like 70s.
And it's something. It's again. I'm pretty sure we've written about this story before, but it's like an 8 or so episode documentary series. Yeah. On Netflix. Everybody I follow on social media has been talking about this documentary.
Yeah. I watched the trailer for it and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be a fucking thing.
Yeah, I feel like I need to get into like
making a murder.
Yeah, like I need to get into a headspace before I watch it. Cause it's be like, oh shit, like
humans are bad.
Yeah.
Just gonna really bum me out.
Yeah. Cool.
So this Rick and Morty news.
Oh yeah, well it's
not really news.
It's not super news.
There was
just
a bunch
that
of headlines that came out, and I was listening to Harmontown, and Dan Harmon was talking about how he just like tweeted something to a fan, like
he tweeted something at a fan,
and he was like, as soon as I tweeted it, I realized like, oh, this is gonna be a thing now. Like it's that thing of like, I'm sure this is like a lot of famous people. It's like you can't send out a tweet. So, without it becoming an article.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, what was
where
his
he's like, oh, suddenly there's my name on the border of every webpage.
Right, because I responded to a person.
Yeah.
He said, well, I can't write the show because it hasn't been ordered yet.
Yeah.
And then
and
then Justin Roiland responded with something similar where it's like, yeah, it's just taken longer than we thought, but hey, I'm working on other stuff at the same time. And then Harmon was on Smodcast this past week, and he elaborated. Yeah, there was some new headline. He just elaborated that they're stuck in contract negotiations right now.
It's just boring fucking shit.
And so it's probably not going to happen until 2019.
Yeah.
But like, that's in a year.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what's the problem?
Yeah, that's
that's.
I guess because
it's been also, as you note in this doc, the fans are terrible.
Yeah,
because this was sent to Dan Harmon as like someone messaged him like,
accusing him
hey,
about
you drunk fucking lazy alcoholic. When is it gonna be? Because everybody thinks they can talk to him like they're Rick,
right?
And they don't understand that's like no. He's a human being.
And Rick's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Rick
come on.
sucks.
Yeah. I think something about the way Dan Harmon tweets and stuff, and I don't want to necessarily defend him because I don't pay enough attention to his Twitter account, but makes it so that it's the fans responding to him seem very fucking toxic the way people talk to him.
Well, and Rick and Morty has a pretty toxic fan
yeah.
base. So it's like, I don't even think that person was like, hey, it's cool if I talk to Dan. It's probably someone legitimately raging at him.
Right,
Yeah.
this is how I am,
Yeah.
and I'm just going.
You
and
piece
like,
of shit.
Your show has allowed me to be myself, so
Yeah.
I'm going to do that to you.
Yeah. So you get on and shout at the producer of your favorite show. Ask why it's basically telling him you're so alcoholic you can't finish the show.
It's so nuts.
It's a real
Yeah.
shame because I like Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I like that show a
It's
lot.
funny.
It's a good show.
It's good.
In a vacuum, it's great, and then the fans around it are making it.
That's Szechuan
Like when I
shit.
see headlines with the word Rick and Morty in it, I'm like, oh, what now? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not excited to hear
Yeah.
about it because of this shit.
Right, you want to live in like a world where like, okay, people don't watch it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even exist until suddenly it exists and you watch it and then it's over and then you're done with it. Like, no
Yeah.
one talks about it. Yeah, they're just, God. And they're like, it's just so interesting because like half of them like don't even get it. Like, you don't get what the show is telling you about these people.
Right. Like, the most profound episode of the last season, I think, was the Pickle Rick episode because of the bit with Susan Sarandon as the therapist when he finally gets in the office and she just, lays it all out for all of them. And it's like as they're driving back and like Rick and the mom, whose name I'm forgetting right now, Beth,
Yeah.
are just totally like, yeah, that lady didn't know what she's talking about. Let's go get drunk. And then Summer and Morty are in the back. She's like, are we going to go back? We really liked her.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Seemed like they were,
and they're just ignoring them.
Right.
Gonna go get drunk.
And like that's like a funny bit if you're watching it and aware of like all of the players and like all the emotions at play there.
The joke is that they're being pieces of shit.
Right.
The joke is not, fuck those kids.
Right.
Like,
and it's like, no, like, hey, Rick and Morty fan, you should probably go to therapy too.
Yeah.
Because it would help you understand that Rick and Beth aren't correct in this scenario.
yeah. Ugh.
Good show though.
It's a great show.
Really good show.
But
real smart, real resident.
It is like somebody watching South Park or somebody watching All in the Family. And I guess South Park gets a little bit of this. But they've done some course correction as of late.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where Cartman's.
Somebody's watching like, oh, that Cartman's great. Or somebody watching All in the Family. Oh, that Archie Bunker sure is. I like him telling
Right,
those
tells
hippies.
it like it is,
yeah.
finally.
It's like,
finally
no,
someone who says what I think. No.
And the joke is he's the asshole.
I think you get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's part of why, like, some of where we're at now, like, as a culture and how we interact is because, like, people identify with Cartman and thought he was funny. So, like, no, I'm a Cartman. I'm one of those Cartman kind of folks.
Yeah.
No, he's bad.
And then also, like, the message in a lot of South Park episodes has been, well, it's dumb to have an opinion either way.
Right.
And that's like, well, all right, you guys. Like,
No,
you really...
caring about stuff is good. You can
Yeah.
do it. You can care about stuff.
It's not dumb to care about things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no more Rick and Morty until 2019, which is
That's
kind of
like,
par for the course for that show.
Yeah, that show takes.
Right, when I saw that headline, I was like, yeah, that is exactly when I expected it to come back.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would come out in 2018. Because it came out last year.
Right.
But, like,
normally shows come out, every year, but like Rick and Morty went almost 2 years between its second and third season, so it's like, well,
and like most, if it's not like a Seth MacFarlane cartoon or like The Simpsons, I'm like, yeah, if it's an animated series, I assume like Venture Brothers, every 3 years, and I expect that Rick and Morty every 2 years, no problem.
Yeah, because they really, I don't want to say that other things, like it feels like other shows like The Simpsons and Family Guy. It's like that thing where it's like, we just have to get it out. Let's go. Let's go. Every year we're going to have this many episodes.
And they have the machine.
And, I was about to say, it's more of an assembly line process, not as a detriment to those shows. That's just what happens with a show when it gets to that level.
But yeah, with Rick and Morty and with Venture Brothers, it's almost more thoughtful, I want to say, where they craft a season.
Yeah.
Right,
they do it together.
Thing. Yeah.
As opposed to like every week, like, all right, what's the episode?
And they're smaller seasons. Like I think Rick and Morty's 10 episode seasons.
Right.
And then a show like Family Guy or Simpsons is 22 episode seasons. So it's just
you have to have it.
Right. It's got to be that's the way it's built into the economy of that show. And then these shows just have different, more flexible economies, I guess, because Venture Brothers is Cartoon Network as well, right? Yeah.
Right, and that's like, and obviously, like, I mean, that show changes so often. Where it's like, okay, here's the new show that we're making.
Right,
it's called Venture Brothers.
Yeah. What a fine program.
Mm-hmm. Real good.
Tom, would you like to talk about a series of...
Yeah, series one Force and the Benches this week. I really liked the last season. I really liked the books.
Is it really good?
It's good.
It's Neil Patrick
Harris is in the show, yeah.
Zoloff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's been a lot of good, cool guest stars. Like last season, they had Alfred Woodard, they had Will Arnett, Don Johnson was in an episode, Catherine O'Hara, Joan Cusack. They had a lot of good guest stars. Because the premise is these orphan kids keep getting moved from relative to relative or guardian to guardian, and so that's a neat opportunity for a show to get like a fun guest star to be the new person each time.
Yeah.
But it's a good show. It's a good series of books. I'm happy that the new season is out.
I believe you, and I'll give it a shot.
I believe
you.
Man. I haven't seen any of it, but
it's good.
That sounds...
Yeah.
Patrick Harris sings the theme song. It's great.
I'm on board. Never mind.
It's great.
Not only have I not watched it, but I instantly hated it.
Oh, why?
I don't know. Like when the Jim Carrey movie came out, I was working at a theater at the time, and I think a lot of that Dr. Seuss stuff was coming out, and like Tim Burton was pissing me off at the time. And,
the Shadow.
And the Harry Potters were good, and this came out, and I was just like, no, boo, whatever this is. Boo! And then people were like, oh, it's based off books. I'm like, boo! I don't like this. Whatever this is, I don't like it.
It's very different.
And I don't remember why.
I mean, it has the same sort of aesthetic as a lot of that
stuff.
Yeah,
I think it's because it felt like it was trying to creep in on that.
Yeah.
I think what sets it apart is that it's deliberately, like, it's sad. It's just these kids getting punished. And, like, the narrator... Oh yeah, Patrick Warburton is the titular Lemony Snicket, the narrator, and he comes in and like in very creative, interesting ways, like Rod Serling's his way in there to like describe what's going on. But
Patrick
he keeps
Warburton?
he keeps telling you
like a Rod Sterling type.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah,
but he keeps popping up and saying this is not gonna. I'm telling you right now, this doesn't have a happy ending, and it doesn't. But like, so it's different in a way from a lot of those other
it's still
children's.
Fun,
it is still fun, and it doesn't.
Well, watching orphans struggle is always fun.
And it's still, I mean, it's not like a complete downer because it's like it's still fun to watch and all the performances are fun, and then like the kids, it empowers the children, throughout the show, which is one of the things that appeals to me about it, I guess. But it is one of those things where all the adults are idiots and just fail them completely.
So it's not, they're idiots, they're not like vicious adults.
Count Olaf is.
Right. But like the adults, all the adults aren't like mean to the kids. They're
no. They're well-meaning, but they'll like miss something.
Okay.
Oh, Asif Manvi was one of them.
Oh, cool.
He plays a really good character. But yeah, it's just they keep foolish guardians. It's good though. It's not like super depressing.
Right. That sounds fun though. Like as long as they're not all awful to the kids.
No, they're usually just idiots.
Yeah.
Or like just completely blind in some way that they don't. Because Count Olaf will keep showing up in disguise, like fuck with them, and none of them can ever recognize that it's Count Olaf, and the kids are immediately like, no, that's him. That is him. It's good. It's a fun show.
Great Neil.
Oh, there's some great Neil stuff. Yeah. He gets to have a lot of fun playing different characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that show.
Okay.
And it's back now.
I'll check it out. I just started watching The Good Place.
I need to watch that.
Ooh, yeah.
I enjoy it.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm only season 1.
Are you done with season 1?
I just finished season 1.
Okay. Yeah. It's consistently good.
Because this was my biggest question on The Good Place. I don't want to say much because Tom hasn't watched it. But it's one of those premises that right away I'm like, they can't keep this up. This is an unsustainable premise. And then the end of season 1, I'm still like, I'm not sure they can keep. Okay, let's see where this goes. Yeah. I'm I'm worried for the writers. I'm like, come on, guys.
That was my knee-jerk reaction to The Last Man on Earth. I was like, that's not a sustainable premise.
They kept going though. They do. It's even after season 2. I'm like. Because they keep, I feel like this is we talked about this a lot at Cracked. I feel like the idea of doing like a comedy show, but in the style with the influences of like shows like Battlestar Galactica or Lost and things like that, where it's like, no, this is just like a well plotted, like arguably, like fantasy story where like every episode a twist happens and you prepare for it. and I feel like they know like, oh well, and then at this act break we switch it up and like the show is different, but it still fits with the
human
overarching.
style,
yeah, it's very, very good. Even after the second season, I'm like, oh, you changed the show again. I can't wait for the third season. It's really, really good.
I'm excited now.
Yeah.
For the second season.
And you can't argue with anything Ted Danson does in that show.
Oh, he's so good.
So good.
Really, in any show.
Any show.
Yeah.
Ted Danson is perfection.
Oh,
Always. So, Dave, you want to talk about movies that deserve more hype?
I do. I'm very excited about this particular movie that deserves more hype. Guys, this is called Under the Silver Lake. You can watch the trailer now on YouTube. It's coming out limited release June 22nd, 2018. The right away, the thing, and this will either excite some people or not excite other people. It's the director is David Robert Mitchell. Otherwise, he's the director of It Follows.
Yeah.
And this is his second film, and that alone is very exciting to me.
And it's not a horror movie.
It's a thriller. It's a mystery movie thriller. It almost feels kind of Shane Blackish.
Right. I'm like, it seems like it's got a tone that's like very playful.
Yeah, it's all kind of a comedy.
Well, it seems like Hitchcock by way of Shane Black.
Yeah.
Because like a Hitchcock premise, it's basically Andrew Garfield plays this guy who meets this woman, and she vanishes the next day, but there's this mysterious code left in her apartment, and the movie's about him becoming obsessed with figuring out this code.
And like figure out there's like codes in music and stuff.
Yeah. He's basically discovering the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what the trailer seems to suggest.
The soundtrack is once again by Disasterpiece, who did the It Follows soundtrack, which is
perfect.
Very
perfect score.
Yeah. They're saying this is less like It Follows. It's not going to be just synthy. Which again, I really like that because again, it's this director who did a really good movie, now doing a different movie that's not this. It's completely different,
right?
But also looks good.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't hate It Follows. I didn't love it because I'm not like a big horror fan.
Right.
But watching, I'm like, oh, you're good at making movies. Yeah. This is like a good version of this.
You're doing a thing.
Yeah. He's got a specific idea of what things should be. And, even like the seashell phone and stuff like that.
The seashell Kindle. Yeah.
Yeah. You made a choice there.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you made a choice.
Yeah, we got lucky and got to see when we saw It Follows. The director just dropped in on the screening and did a Q&A at the end of it. Yeah, and he talked about that specifically because he was talking about, I wanted it to seem out of time, so you couldn't place a time period.
Which is...
So he gave her this weird Kindle.
Part of the inspiration, because he definitely had inspirations from multiple directors. That was also the first Evil Dead movie. Sam Raimi said the exact same thing. Is that if you watched Evil Dead, the style, because it was shot in like the 80s.
It seems older than it is.
It does, yeah. They're dressed in a weird way because he was like, I didn't want to make this feel like an 80s movie.
Right, it could have been the 50s.
Yeah, exactly.
It even has that old car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the cinematography from Evil Dead is very similar to It Follows. So there's a lot of inspiration there.
That makes sense. Those are all... More directors should do that. So they don't date their films.
Don't date their film. It's one of the things I like so much about Tim Burton's Batman films.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that they seem to take place in the 30s and in the 80s simultaneously.
Right, yeah, it's any time.
Yeah.
Or all the times.
All times.
Yeah.
Sometimes
all times.
It works, sometimes there's movies like Streets
of Fire. Sometimes it's Streets of Fire, that's right. Sometimes it doesn't work.
The rock and roll fable Streets of Fire starring Rick Moranis and Willem Dafoe.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
It's not a good movie.
We did it on Best Bad Movie Ever. Sandra brought that movie.
It is
something else.
Yeah. Rick Moranis
unironically playing an asshole.
Yeah, plays a sleazy band manager.
Oh, yeah. Without a trace of irony.
Yeah.
It's just him playing an asshole. It's delightful.
Oh, man, that is Willem Dafoe.
Oh, yeah. It is the most Willem Dafoe.
Wearing, like, black, weird, like, leather pants.
Enormous collar on this leather jacket.
It's a delightful film. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
We ran through all of our stories.
Everybody check out Under the Silver Lake, avoid Streets of Fire.
Yeah. And, Cody, you got some stuff you want to plug?
Yeah, I'll plug my things.
Yeah, plug your things.
Go to, I've got a new YouTube channel for the news, my news show. And you can support it on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Cody Johnston. My Twitter is Dr. Mr. Cody. The show's Twitter is Some More News. and look at all of it.
It's awesome.
It's a fine program.
Yeah. The last episode was so good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It really is the best word for it. It's cathartic.
It is. I don't know if it is still for you. I remember that it got really hard for you having to do it every week.
Yeah. It's on par with me with Last Week Tonight, which I watched them both for the same thing, which is, again, catharsis.
Yeah.
It's to feel
sane a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. If you want to watch me yell at Tucker Carlson for 7 minutes.
And you do.
You do.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it starts, we were just talking about this beforehand, where you feel embarrassed for the person in the video. Every longer bit of that clip you show, I'm like, you're a dummy. You're a dummy saying dummy racist things.
His name is Tucker.
His name is Tucker.
Yeah. Yeah, man. All right.
Yeah, check it out. Thanks.
Yeah,
man. Well, thanks for coming and doing this.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
I love this.
Oh, great. I'm glad. All right. Thanks for giving us your ears for this past hour.
All
right. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.